What scams have you fallen victim of? In my youth, I got messaged by a girl on my Facebook. We were talking for a bit when things turned sexual. She was French and wanted to Skype. Me being a lusty 20-something, and I was confident from dating success around that time, I figured I'd have a go. I was a bit suspicious. I even told my roommate beforehand, like, should I do this? I got the live your best life talk and I was off to my room. We get on Skype and this beautiful woman was on screen and naked, so we start. About 10 seconds later the feed cuts off. I'm sent a recorded video of me wanking in my face and multiple links to other sites, YouTube included, with the title, full name, masturbates to 11-year-old. Now mind you, the lady I saw on screen was well developed and I got the I will rot your life, send it to family on Facebook, and release it if blackmail message to send money, and gave me 30 minutes. I fucking panic. IDK what to do. I use Skype on my phone, so by this point the battery was practically dead. Anxiety is through the roof, I can't breathe, and I'd figure go to the police station. I was broke, so money wasn't going to happen. Police station is about 20 minutes away. I grab my phone charger and bolt. Drive like a madman to the police station and bust in and plug my phone in a wall. The station was desolate. Not a human to be seen. All doors are locked and the help window looking area isn't even lit. So I just started pounding on doors, and after about 2 minutes of that a lady cop comes out and I explain what's going on and she understands and asks to see the phone. I relinquish it and she disappears. I've done it. I've avoided humiliation and slander. The feeling lifts a bit and I can breathe. She returns with my phone and says there's nothing we can really do. This is an Interpol issue and the crime would have been committed in county name I live in, and the county police for my county is 15 minutes away from where I live. She hands back my phone and walks back into the locked room. I broke. I sat on the floor and charged my phone for 10 minutes or so and sent a couple of warnings to family members, super embarrassing, and told my friends what had happened. If the video was released and someone saw it, I'd rather be explained up front. I was shook. When I talked to I think the second friend about what was happening, he told me it's actually a very common scheme and college-aged guys fall for it all the time. Video was never even released or anything. I've even gone back trying to find it on YouTube just to make sure. I learned my lesson about online safety. Get this free magazine subscription. Just cancel it by calling the support line and dealing with some asshole for 2 hours. It's been almost a year and I'm still getting Food Network magazines. I can cook like a motherfucker now though. Tell me the truth. I won't get mad. I used to have a little computer shop here in Utah. I had a missionary suit, missionary name badge, come in asking for a charity PC build for a church and he was trying to help get on his feet. He said the bishop, for Mormons, the head of the local branch of the church, and has authority to give out money for charitable causes, would pay for it the cost of the parts, if I paid for the labor. Not unheard of. Sometimes the bishop will pay someone's rent for a month or two, pay to get a car fixed, so this request seemed perfectly within the realm of possibility. So I threw together a decent little machine that cost me about $500 in parts. The bishop called me to say, once the guy picked up the computer, to head over to the 14th, or whatever, ward in Provo to pick up the check. Guy picked up the PC and I hopped in the car and headed toward Provo, and tried finding the address for this ward via phone information. This was pre-smartphones and GPS maps. And couldn't find it. I knew at that moment I got took. I did manage to look the bishop's apostrophe phone number on some internet white pages site, and found his address. I headed over there and big surprise, the missionary's apostrophe car was in the driveway. I called him and left a voicemail explaining I'd be calling the cops if someone didn't return that computer. I got back to the shop and the missionary called and said he'd bring it back shortly. I called the cops anyway. Shop was literally across the street from our local cop shop, so a detective came over and arrested the guy the second he stepped through my door. The PC was in his car, so the cop took pics of it and let me take it back. Guy was convicted of theft by communication. Had he been any smarter with his call from the bishop he would have gotten away with it. When I 22 meters, was in 3rd grade. This 4th grade girl that I had a huge crush came up to me when I was on the swing set. She said, "I bet you can't do a backflip out of that swing." So of course I had to prove it to her that I could. So I do a backflip out of the swing and this bitch steals it out from under me. Didn't talk to her until this last year. We had drinks and laughed about it. This is minor, but the first time I went to San Francisco at night, I paid a lot attendant $25.00 to park. Turns out he was a homeless guy with a high visibility vest who picks up receipts off the ground and acts like he's in charge and gives you one when you pay him $25. The parking was actually free. "Oh, I'll put the money in a special account for you when you get money from the relatives." "Where's my money, Mom?" Free Minecraft. Well, it just gave me a virus. But on the plus side, I got rid of the virus and still got to play Minecraft for free. I saw a guy on the side of the road, right off base, which is known for scamming military. I stopped to make sure he was okay. He immediately began to vent to me with a sob story of how he was trying to get to Washington, which was a few states away, and needed gas money. He started to take off his gold jewelry and said I could keep it if I gave him a little gas money. I ended up giving him $400 for my own selfish reasons to profit off of his jewelry, from which he claimed was from the Bay. My gut was screaming at me, telling me not to, but I did, and immediately took the gold to a pawn shop, and it was all fake. 2 gold rings and 2 gold necklaces. The engraving on them were all fake. To being greedy, but also ignorant. When I was young and dumb, I had some shitty car, I don't even remember now. A Dodge Neon or something. It was financed through one of those buy here, pay here places. So true, scumbags from the start. Again, I was dumb, so for whatever reason I stopped making payments. I had it a few weeks, maybe a month, and I knew they were trying to track me down. I was half a state away, so there was really no chance of them finding me. My grandmother got a call on our home phone from a recruiter looking to hire me. I was in the game industry at the time, but the job was actually relevant to me. I called them back and had a great interview. They wanted to mail out some information to finish the hire, so I gave them my mailing address ready to get hired by a sweet company I wanted to work for anyway. Welp. Within a few hours my car was on the back of a tow truck and I had no job and no ride. I'm sure I was mad at the time, but now I'm not even mad. More so impressed. Fuckers got me. It legitimately still bothers me, 15 plus years later, that I got outsmarted and outplayed like that. When I was younger, I was desperate to get into the acting industry. I found a local agency and they were auditioning people to be a part of a convention sort of thing, where performers can be found by big people in that industry. The cost of this was around $15,000. It included lessons every week until the event and your entry into the event. You still had to pay for hotel / transportation / food and all the outfits / materials you have to have in order to meet qualifications. I did this for a long time, blindly putting my trust into someone, thinking that they could be my gateway to the big league. Turns out, as probably predicted by most of you by now, it was something the industry likes to call a cattle call. Cattle calls are big events where you pay a lot of money to someone to be in crappy conditions all week, working your butt, and it never amounts to any genuine jobs. Or if it does, very few. You will have thousands of people tricked each year going to these events and you basically end up with nothing. I figured that probably the only reason the agency accepted me was because they wanted as much money as possible. So they took me on board. They probably didn't even think I was all that talented. I saw through this, thankfully, before I had my parents pay the whole $15,000, and we ended up only losing a few thousand comparing to what it would have been. It still makes me feel guilty though, because my parents spent so much money for me to have my dream come true. And I worked so hard to get it, but at the end, got nothing from it. Talent agency. They had a full-on office, and rented space, and debit machines and everything. Told me they'd be looking at casting me in commercials and small bits and work my way up. Then they asked for $150 upfront for membership fees. Never heard from them again. Saw a news program about 2 years later about a fraud agency bearing the same name, where the owners went to jail for 7+ years, so I guess silver linings. About 10 years ago I was meeting some friends after work one Sunday afternoon. I was meeting them downtown, Montreal, and I have no patience for parking, so I parked in a parking lot. I walked up to the little hut to pay, got in line behind 2 other people the guy was serving, waited my turn, and gave him my money. He told me to park there and pointed. As I turned back around he jumped on a bike and took off. I, like the others ahead of me in line, didn't realize the lot was closed on Sundays. I give him credit though. Not only was I scammed, I waited in line to be scammed.